25 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the five-time three-division world champion, one of the powerhouse introducing the hard-hitting, reigning, defending, and undefeated WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta.
March 1st, 2025, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. The energy inside the arena is electric, a charged atmosphere thick with anticipation. The seats are packed, the aisles brimming with movement as fans settle in for what promises to be a night of boxing history. Some have come to witness the sheer dominance of an already established champion. Others, drawn by the allure of the unexpected, are here to see if an underdog can defy the odds and pull off one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. At the center of it all stands Gervonta "Tank" Davis, the undefeated WBA lightweight champion. With 30 wins, 28 by knockout, his reputation as one of boxing's most feared punchers precedes him. Every fight he enters carries the weight of expectation, not just to win, but to win spectacularly. His explosive knockouts have sent shockwaves through the sport, making him a human highlight reel and a must-watch attraction. But tonight, it isn't just about maintaining his unblemished record. Tonight, he faces an opponent with everything to gain and nothing to lose. Opposite him stands Lamont Roach Jr., the reigning WBA super featherweight champion, a fighter known for his skill, speed, and ring IQ. Roach may not have the same knockout percentage as Davis, but what he lacks in raw power, he makes up for in technical brilliance. With a 25-1-1 record, he has earned his place on this stage, proving himself against tough competition. But this is something different. This is his moment to prove that he belongs at the highest level, that he can go toe-to-toe with the sport's elite, and that he is more than just an opponent in someone else's story. As the camera pans over the arena, capturing the sea of flashing lights and waving banners, the tension is almost unbearable. Chants rise from the crowd, some calling for Tank, others for Roach. Ringside analysts discuss strategies, past performances, and the implications of a victory for either man. Millions watch from home, glued to their screens, knowing that no matter how this unfolds, it will be a night to remember. Backstage, the calm before the storm. In one locker room, Gervonta Davis sits quietly, hands wrapped, eyes locked in an unshakable gaze. Around him, his team moves efficiently, finalizing preparations, but he remains unfazed. This is familiar territory. The noise, the lights, the pressure, it's all part of the job. He shadowboxes, his movements fluid yet powerful, each punch a silent promise of destruction. In another room, Lamont Roach Jr. paces, breathing deep, his team offering last-minute words of encouragement. He stretches, staying loose, but there's an undeniable intensity in his eyes. He knows what he's up against. He knows what people are expecting, but he also knows what they don't see. His preparation, his hunger, his belief that he can weather the storm and change the course of his career in a single night. The distant roar of the crowd grows louder. It's almost time. The lights inside Barclays Center dim. A single spotlight illuminates the massive video screens hanging above the ring, showcasing highlights of Davis's most devastating knockouts. Leo Santa Cruz crumbling under an uppercut, Rolando Romero collapsing from a precise left hand, Hector Luis Garcia unable to continue after a barrage of shots. Then the music hits. Gervonta Davis steps into the tunnel. The crowd erupts. The reigning champion walks toward the ring with measured steps, his face expressionless, his focus locked in. Dressed in his custom fight gear, gloves strapped tight, he exudes an aura of destruction. The sound of his name being chanted fills the air. He climbs into the ring, rolling his neck, breathing deep, staring straight ahead, as if he already knows what's about to happen. Moments later, Roach's entrance begins. The energy shifts slightly, less of an explosion, more of a wave of support mixed with intrigue. His fans cheer, but the Barclays Center still feels like enemy territory. He walks with purpose, his eyes scanning the crowd, his mind focused on the task ahead. He doesn't have the same larger-than-life presence as Tank, but he doesn't need it. He just needs to be the better fighter tonight. Inside the ring, both men stand across from each other, the gap between them feeling almost non-existent despite the few feet of space. The referee steps forward, issuing the final instructions. Davis never breaks eye contact. Roach stands firm. The world watches. The bell rings. The war begins. The moment the bell rings, both fighters step to the center of the ring. Tank, slightly crouched, keeps his lead hand extended, pawing with his jab, testing the distance. Roach, more upright, stays light on his feet, shifting angles, refusing to be a stationary target. Davis inches forward, stalking his prey, eyes locked in like a predator waiting for the perfect opening. Roach, to the surprise of many, isn't playing defense. He pops a quick, sharp right hand through Davis's guard. Not a power shot, but a warning. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to win. Tank smirks. He's seen this before. He keeps measuring, still patient. Roach continues to move, circling left, then right, keeping Tank guessing. The first round isn't about damage. It's about strategy. Who will figure the other out first? Neither fighter overcommits, both men collecting data, testing reactions. The round ends with little fireworks, but one thing is already clear. This is not going to be an easy night for Tank. The second round begins, and Roach is already showing more urgency. He's no longer just testing the waters. He's stepping into the fight. He doubles up his jab, flicking it out fast, keeping Davis from closing in too quickly. Every time Tank tries to edge forward, Roach pivots smoothly, using his superior footwork to keep the bigger puncher off balance. Davis, still composed, keeps stalking. His body language never changes, shoulders relaxed, eyes locked on Roach, calculating. He inches forward, applying constant, suffocating pressure. But Roach is sticking to his game plan. A crisp left jab lands clean on Davis's chin, followed by a sharp right cross. It's not enough to hurt him, but it's enough to get the crowd buzzing. Roach is starting to find his rhythm, making Davis work for every step. Tank feints, throwing a slight dip of the shoulders, testing how Roach reacts. Roach doesn't bite. He stays disciplined, slipping a big right hook from Davis, then quickly countering with another clean jab to the body. His speed is keeping Tank at bay. With 10 seconds left in the round, Davis finally lands something significant, a brutal left hook to the body. Roach winces, momentarily stiffening, but he doesn't let it show. He resets, moves, and survives the round. As Roach walks back to his corner, there's a fire in his eyes. He knows he belongs here. Davis comes out more aggressive now. Enough waiting, enough patience. It's time to fight. Tank starts cutting the distance quickly, moving in with more urgency, his head bobbing and weaving as he advances. Roach sees the change and tries to keep his jab active, but Davis is slipping most of them now, reading the timing. Then boom, Davis finally gets inside and lands a vicious left hook. The sound echoes through the arena, and Roach's head snaps to the side. The crowd gasps. It's the first moment where Tank's power truly makes an appearance. But Roach doesn't go anywhere. He fires back immediately, a clean right hand that lands flush on Davis's chin. Tank barely flinches. He just grins and nods, acknowledging the shot. The energy in the arena shifts. This isn't going to be a quick knockout. This is a fight. Roach senses something. Davis is still dangerous, but he's hittable. He starts stepping into his punches, landing with more confidence. A sharp jab, then a cross to the body, then a step back, making Davis miss. Roach is making Tank work. Then, out of nowhere, a brilliant three-punch combination lands flush. Right hand, left hook, straight down the middle. Davis actually takes a step back. The crowd erupts. Roach's corner is screaming. He's having his moment. Davis resets, rolling his shoulders, nodding as if to say, "All right, now it's a fight." But for the first time, there's a hint of frustration. Roach keeps moving, using his angles, refusing to let Davis settle in and set up his signature power shots. His movement, his volume, his sharp counters. It's the best minute of the fight for the underdog. The round ends, and Roach walks back to his corner smiling. Davis, stone-faced. Davis comes out with one goal now, cut off the ring. Enough boxing, enough movement. He wants to break Roach down, corner him, and punish him. He starts stepping to his left, forcing Roach into a smaller and smaller space. It's a slow squeeze, a trap setting itself. Roach throws a quick 1-2, but Davis rolls under it and counters with a left uppercut to the body. Roach stumbles back. He doesn't go down, but his movement suddenly isn't as smooth. Tank sees it. He grins. He knows. The bodywork is starting to pay off. Now, every jab Roach throws gets answered by a shot to the ribs. Every movement is met with pressure. Davis is imposing his will. With 30 seconds left, Tank lands another monster left uppercut to the body. Roach's knees buckle for just a second. For the first time in the fight, the underdog is slowing down. The tide is turning. Davis is taking control. The fight has entered the deep waters now, and both men know it. Davis, still pressing forward, is starting to wear Roach down. He's no longer just stalking. He's unloading. Short, punishing shots to the body. A stiff jab snapping Roach's head back. A heavy left hook that barely misses. Every punch feels like it has a purpose now. Roach, however, refuses to be broken. His footwork isn't as quick as it was in the early rounds, but he's still moving smartly, keeping angles, finding pockets of space to counter. And when he throws, he lands. A crisp right hand sneaks through Tank's guard, then a sharp left to the ribs. The crowd reacts. Roach is still in this. Davis smirks. He loves this. He wants a fight, and Roach is giving him one. Then, a moment no one expected. Out of nowhere, Roach plants his feet and lets a right hand fly boom. It lands flush on Davis's chin, snapping his head back. The crowd erupts. For the first time, Tank's balance is slightly compromised. His back foot shifts, his body tilts, but he doesn't go down. He absorbs it, nods his head, and then he smiles. Roach just gave him his best shot, but was it enough? Davis resets immediately, stepping forward again, unfazed. The power difference is clear. When Roach lands, Davis acknowledges it. When Davis lands, Roach feels it. The round ends with both men throwing, both refusing to step back. It's turning into a war. The bell rings, and Davis comes out like a man on a mission. Whatever respect he had for Roach's skills, whatever patience he showed earlier, it's gone now. He's done playing. He feints a jab, dips low, then drives a left hand straight into Roach's ribs. Roach grimaces. His body is starting to betray him. Davis sees it. He knows this fight is slipping away from Roach. Roach fires a quick 1-2, trying to push Davis back. It barely slows him down. Tank keeps coming. Then it happens. Davis steps in, slips a weak jab, and unleashes a monstrous left uppercut that detonates on Roach's chin. Boom. Roach's body stiffens. His legs buckle. He goes down. The Barclays Center explodes. Roach blinks rapidly, shaking his head as he tries to process what just happened. His arms push against the canvas, and he takes a knee, breathing heavily, eyes wide. The referee is counting. 4, 5, 6. Roach exhales, wipes his gloves on his trunks, and beats the count at 8. He looks at the ref, nods. He's hurt, but he's still here. Davis doesn't flinch. No celebration, no emotion, just pure, cold focus. The ref waves them back in, and Tank walks straight at him. Roach does the smart thing. He grabs, he clinches, he stalls. He's surviving, but barely. Davis rips another body shot in close. Roach groans, but holds on. The seconds are ticking away. The bell rings. Roach survives the round, but for how much longer? The moment Roach sits down in his corner, his team is in full panic mode. His trainer is yelling, "You've got to move. You can't stand in front of him. Keep your hands up." Roach nods, but his eyes look different now. The confidence is fading. The exhaustion is real. His body is betraying him. Across the ring, Tank isn't even breathing heavy. He's on his feet before the bell. He's ready to end this. As round 9 begins, Roach is still trying to fight back. He jabs, moves, but his punches don't have the same snap. His footwork is slower. His reactions aren't as sharp. Davis, calm and patient, starts setting up the finish. He walks Roach down, slipping jabs, cutting off the ring. Every time Roach tries to escape, Tank is already there, waiting. Then, another crushing body shot. Roach gasps. His gloves briefly drop. Tank sees it. It's time. Davis steps in, unleashes a thunderous left hand that crashes against Roach's temple. Roach stumbles. His legs wobble, but he refuses to go down. The crowd is on its feet. They can feel it coming. Roach, running purely on heart, throws a desperate right hook. Davis ducks it and counters with a brutal left to the ribs. Roach staggers back. His arms drop for a split second. Davis grins. He knows the end is near. The question now isn't if Tank will stop him. It's when. The bell rings for the 10th round, but the energy in the arena has shifted. Everyone knows what's coming. The question isn't whether Roach can win anymore. It's whether he can survive. Davis knows he has him now. His approach is different. No more calculating. No more setting traps. Now it's just punishment. Roach, to his credit, is still throwing punches. His heart is keeping him in this fight, but his body is betraying him with every passing second. His movements are slower. His reactions are delayed. His face tells the whole story. He's running on fumes. Tank steps in, rolls under a lazy jab, and drives a left hook straight into Roach's ribs. The impact is brutal. Roach's entire body folds for a second, his gloves instinctively dropping lower. His knees buckle, but somehow, he stays standing. The crowd is on its feet. The referee watches closely now, his eyes locked on Roach. He's looking for a reason to step in. Davis doesn't rush. He's walking Roach down, giving him just enough space to keep fighting, but not enough to escape. A weak right hand from Roach lands on Tank's gloves. It has nothing behind it. The snap is gone. The power is gone. Roach is just fighting on instinct now. Davis smirks. It's almost over. Roach's corner is screaming at him as he staggers to his stool between rounds. His trainer grabs his face, forcing him to look him in the eyes. You gotta show me something. You hear me? You gotta show me something this round. Roach nods, breathing heavily, but deep down he knows. Across the ring, Davis stands before the bell even rings. He paces in his corner, his gloves tightening. He's ready to end this. The moment the round starts, Tank wastes no time. He closes the distance immediately, forcing Roach back into the ropes. A sharp jab, then another. Roach's head snaps back. Then boom, a thunderous left uppercut crashes into Roach's chin. His legs wobble. The crowd gasps. For a moment, he looks like he's about to go down. His knees shake. His arms dangle. His body is giving up on him. But somehow he stays standing. Davis steps back slightly, tilting his head, studying him. He's surprised Roach is still upright. Most fighters would have collapsed by now. The referee steps in slightly, ready to jump between them at any moment. Roach blinks rapidly, shaking his head, trying to clear the fog. His arms barely lift to defend himself. He's still here, but just barely. The round ends, but there's a new tension in the arena. The finish is coming. Everyone can feel it. The question is, how much more can Roach take? Roach stumbles to his feet in his corner, his eyes glassy. The referee walks over, staring deep into his soul, checking if there's anything left. You good? You want to keep going? Roach sways slightly but nods. The ref pauses. He knows what's about to happen. He sighs, then waves his hands. Let's go. For the final time tonight, the bell rings. Davis marches forward immediately. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't need to anymore. Roach backs up, gloves barely up. He's trying to survive, but Davis smells blood. A jab, another jab. Roach stumbles. Then, the kill shot. Boom. A left hook crashes into Roach's temple. His legs give out. He stumbles sideways, his back brushing the ropes. Davis steps in again, right cross. Roach's body jerks to the side. Then, the final blow. A devastating left uppercut. And Roach collapses. His body crumbles to the canvas like a marionette whose strings have been cut. The crowd erupts. The fight is over. The referee doesn't even bother counting. He waves it off immediately. It is over. Gervonta Tank Davis stands over Roach, his gloves at his sides, staring down at his fallen opponent. A cold reminder of why they call him one of the most dangerous finishers in boxing. The Barclays Center is deafening. Fans are on their feet, screaming, celebrating another Tank Davis knockout. Roach's corner rushes in, kneeling beside him, fanning his face, trying to wake him up. He's still conscious, but barely. Davis calmly walks to his corner, lifts his arms in victory. 30 wins. 29 knockouts, another one down, another highlight added to his legacy. What a performance. What a finish. Gervonta Tank Davis has done it again. Another brutal knockout, another soul-snatching moment, another victim left on the canvas, wondering what just happened. If there were any doubts before, they've been erased. This man is not just a champion, he is a force of nature. But let's pause for a moment and acknowledge something important. Lamont Roach Jr. deserves respect. This wasn't a one-sided beatdown from start to finish. Roach came to fight. He had his moments, his sharp counters, his movement, that shocking right hand that momentarily stunned Tank in round 7. He fought smart, he fought hard, and he pushed Davis further than most expected. The difference? Tank's power is simply different. No matter how much skill you bring, no matter how much heart you show, if Davis lands clean, the fight is over. As Roach's team helps him to his stool, wiping sweat and blood from his face, there's a mix of emotions in his eyes. Disappointment, pain, but also pride. He stepped up to 130 pounds, faced one of the most feared punchers in the sport, and proved he belongs in elite company. For Tank, there's no celebration, no wild emotion. He walks calmly to the center of the ring, expression unreadable, like a man who expected this outcome all along. The referee raises his hand. The official decision is announced. Winner by knockout, and still WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta Tank Davis. The Barclays Center erupts. Davis looks around, nods, soaking in the moment, but his mind is already moving forward, because now the big question remains, what's next? At this point, what else does Davis have left to prove at lightweight? He's beaten former champions. He's put contenders to sleep. His resume is a highlight reel of knockouts. But there's one thing missing: undisputed status. The lightweight division is stacked with talent, and if Davis wants to cement his place as the best of the best, there's only one move left: unify the belts. Could a showdown with Shakur Stevenson be next? A clash between Davis's power and Stevenson's defensive genius would be one of the most intriguing matchups in the sport. What about Devin Haney? The former undisputed champion has been vocal about wanting big fights. Would Davis finally step up to claim all the belts? Or does he look for something bigger? Davis has teased it before: a move up in weight to challenge himself even further. With the way he handled Roach, it's clear he's outgrowing the lightweight division. His power? Still devastating. His speed? Still elite. His fight IQ? Better than ever. Could he challenge Teofimo Lopez at 140? A battle between two explosive finishers would be must-watch television. Or does he set his sights on Ryan Garcia again? Their first fight ended with a Davis knockout, but Garcia still wants redemption. Would Tank give him another chance? No matter which direction Davis chooses, one thing is certain: every fighter in and around his division is now on notice. For Lamont Roach Jr., this loss doesn't define him. Yes, it stings. Yes, it's a setback. But he just went 12 rounds with one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing. That alone proves he belongs at the highest level. The big question now: does he stay at lightweight or drop back to super featherweight? Going back down to 126 or 130 could mean another title shot, maybe even a unification bout. But after tonight, maybe Roach realizes he's ready for a bigger stage. He may not have left the ring with a belt, but he left with something just as valuable: respect. His stock didn't drop. If anything, it rose. And that means he'll be back, hungrier, smarter, more dangerous. The night belongs to Tank. Another knockout, another statement, another legacy moment. But now the debate begins. Who should he fight next? Should he stay at 135 and unify the division? Should he move to 140 and chase even bigger fights? And what about Roach? Does he still have a bright future at lightweight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight next? Because one thing is certain: his story is far from over. Until next time, peace out.